So, good morning, class. Today is April 29, Friday. It's wonderful to see you all again. This is our second meeting and hopefully more meetings to go. So, please open your cameras for those who has a stable internet connection. For today's class, we will be having open questions. But this time, I will discuss it and deepen your understanding by using examples. So, open questions. I've already discussed it in our previous discussion, as you can remember, so let's have a recap. Open questions have multiple answers and requires deeper thinking. These are really the kind of question we want to be focusing on as you are reading and as you are writing questions. These are great for discussions also. Open questions often start with phrases like, why do you think, or what do you think about? If you have written a question and you want to test and see if it's open question, the best way to test it is to try and answer it and then see if it has more than one answer. So again, if your question only has one right answer, it's not an open question. If it has a multiple answer, or if there's multiple different ways that you could explain your answer, then it's usually an open question. And lastly, open questions can't be answered with yes or no. So, an example of this might be, what was one of your favorite parts of the book? So, you, Miss Kondangan, what was one of your favorite parts of the book?
Good morning, ma'am. It's climax po, which is it is the exciting part where the two main characters are doing their most unforgettable moments po.
Yes, correct. That's my favorite part also. How about you, Miss Ella? What was one of your favorite parts of the book?
Good morning, ma'am. Climax is my favorite part of the book also because it is the highest or most intense point in the development of the story.
Yes, correct. So, again, there's multiple different ways you can answer this question based on your what favorite part of the book would be. And your favorite part of the book might be different than the person who's sitting next to you. So, open questions generate much more interesting discussion and they leave room for debate of people to disagree and to really talk through why they have the opinions that they hold. So again, if you're talking to someone, they might ask you what was the most interesting part of your day, and you might start well, the most interesting part of my day, and launch into several different stories. There's a lot more interesting discussion that happens from these open questions. So I have here a conversation between two people talking about vacation. Miss Kondangan will read the person number one while Miss Ella will read the person number two. So at the resto, please read.
Okay po. Where did you go on your last holiday?
Miss Ella.
Sorry, ma'am. The PowerPoint on my end is stuck with the first slide. Po.
Can you see it now? Miss Ella.
Not yet. Parang po.
Okay, I will try to fix it. Wait.
Okay na po.
Again from the start, Miss Kondangan.
Hello po, yes ma'am. Where did you go on your last holiday?
I went to Belgium.
Was it fun?
Yes, it was.
Was the food good?
Yes, it was.
Did you like the weather?
Yes, I did.
Do you like the people?
Yes, I did.
Thank you so much. So, what's wrong with this conversation? As you can see, it's not very interesting. It's just black and white conversation, no colors and no excitement. It's because the question that person number one asks are close-ended questions and can be answered with single words answers like yes or no. So another slide, was it fun? Was the food good? Did you like the weather? Do you like the people? So these are example of a close-ended questions. But here we are talking about open questions. It prompts the beginning of a longer conversation by asking questions starting with why, how, and what if. I already discussed it on our first meeting, remember? So instead of asking was the food good, it is better to ask how was the food. Miss Kundangan, if someone asks you was the food good, what will be your answer?
Yes, it tastes good. Po.
Of course, you will answer yes or either no. How was the weather? What were the people like? Again, open questions are broad and can be answered in detail. So I have here another conversation where the person one will ask open questions. Let's see if this conversation is more interesting than the previous conversation that we have. Again, Miss Kundangan will be the person number one and Miss Ella will be the person number two.
Okay po, ma'am. Where did you go on your last holiday?
I went to Belgium.
How was it?
Fantastic. I liked Athens a lot. The museums and the architecture were great. Also, the view are amazing.
Sounds fantastic. Did you visit any of the island?
We visited Hydra.
How was Hydra like?
Hydra is a romantic island. It's full of neoclassical mansions and great museums. I was impressed, but there's no vehicle that islands, not even motorbike, were allowed in.
Please continue.
What was the food like?
The food was delicious, and our general experience in the cafes and restaurants was excellent. We ate great food, mostly fresh fish.
Sounds perfect. I love fresh fish. How was the weather?
The weather was excellent. It was warm and sunny.
Hawaii, wonderful. What were the people like?
People were very friendly and helpful. They were happy to chat and give us recommendations of places to visit.
Belgium sounds like a wonderful place. I must visit on my next holiday.
Thank you so much, Miss Ella and Miss Christine. It's more way better than the first conversation, right? Longer than the first conversation, more interesting, and a lot of stops can be discussed and can bring healthy conversation. So, these are the questions that person number one asks. Where did you go on your last holiday? How was it? What was Hydra like? What was the food like? How was the food? Instead of asking, was the food good? How was the weather? Instead of asking, do you like the weather? What were the people like? Instead of asking, do you like the people? By asking this type of questions, you are giving one person the opportunity to answer whatever they like, limiting or influencing them with predefined answer. So, for today's activity, I have here questions and you will change it to open questions. This will be a very easy and simple if you listen carefully to my discussion. So, read the question first before stating your answer. I will read the number one for example. Are you feeling better today? From that, we can ask, how are you feeling today or how do you feel today? So, who wants to answer the next question, or who wants to change the next question into open questions?
I'll answer po the first one po.
Okay, Miss Christine. Do you have an answer already, Miss Christine?
Wait po ma'am, I'll make ano po.
Take your time.
Excuse me ma'am, I have answer na po.
Go ahead.
Hmm. Instead of asking, are you planning to become a nurse, you can ask, what kind of career do you want to pursue?
Yes, that sounds better than the first one. So, for the number three,
Do you have a good meeting? We can change this to what happened at the meeting.
yes, it's more way sounds better or sound interesting than do you have a good meeting. In that, the person who you are talking with can explain what his or her experience about the meeting. So, for the number four,
Ma'am, for number 4 po, instead of this, we can ask, how would you rate your experience?
yes, instead asking the person, are you satisfied with your experience? You can better ask, instead of that, you can, how would you rate your experience? And lastly, for the number five, who wants to answer the number five?
Was your trip successful? Number five, was your trip successful? Instead of asking, was your trip successful, we can say that, what did you manage to accomplish in your trip?
Sounds better than the was your trip successful? So, thank you so much for answering those questions. But be careful. Just because open questions have more than one right answer doesn't mean they don't have any wrong ones. So again, your opinion can be your opinion, but there are still open questions that have right and wrong answers. They just have multiple ways to answer the question. So, any questions, clarifications?
None, ma'am, so far.
How about you, Miss Ella? Any questions? I think that's it. Thanks, class, for making this discussion interesting. Thank you for reading and answering. You've done your part very well. Don't hesitate to message me if you want to ask something about this discussion. Thank you for participating, and this will be graded as your oral recitation. Goodbye and thank you, class. See you all again next week.
Thank you, ma'am.